record here. Okay, great. Oh God!
I knew this was gonna happen.
This is gonna be a shit show. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts.
Selector George.
And Harrison, the Duchess Historical.
We are covering Before They Are Hanged, the second book in the original trilogy. This will be a special episode where we review Before They Are Hanged with spoilers, while reveling in the fact that we are obviously here together in person for the first time.
It's pretty weird.
It has happened.
Really fucking weird.
Me and Harrison were about to catfish George, but didn't work out.
We still have time.
What do you mean by that?
You'll know tomorrow night. So let's get started. We want to thank everybody for their support. Shout out everyone that's followed us for some reason.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Whatever it is you find interesting about what we talk about.
It is good
Thank
writing.
you.
About some books. Interlude, sorry. And oh yeah, if you guys can just follow us on social media, that'd be nice. Our YouTube page.
Do it.
Harrison's YouTube page is fantastic. We haven't talked about that enough.
His YouTube page.
His YouTube
It's-
stuff.
Oh,
All the videos.
his contributions.
Fucking excellent.
Yeah, they're good.
And I'm not even,
Round of applause.
I'm not going to clap because I'm not an idiot.
Appreciate
but-
I'll do it.
What a dick! I only started this whole thing. Sons of bitches. Alrighty.
We'll be doing it for 10 months now. About?
No, will it be 10 months? No. It's like 9, I feel like.
It was May when you put the post up when we started talking about it, and then
Right, June was our
June
first.
was the first release.
June was the first one. Yep. Alrighty. Should we do the meme of the week first, or what do we do?
Sure, yeah, we can do the meme of the week first.
We'll do meme of the week.
So-
You never prepared, George.
Our good friend who we've had an interview with before, the Bloody Niner, on Reddit, and it's I can just fucking show
Yeah,
it to you. There you go.
Okay.
So it's
You can pause?
Blacked Out Won't Make Me Cry. Told Duru Thunderhead, I'm less now that he's gone, and so are all of you. Spoilers for the next book as well.
Nothing bad happens to anybody.
No, he survives. He's fine. He gets to eat, like, settles down, has kids and all that. Don't worry about
That's
it.
exactly what happens.
Blacked Out's a godfather.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they get married.
They get married together.
Yeah.
They adopt.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a terrible joke. I'm not gonna
Because
do it.
apparently the North is very accepting of gay couples for some reason. It's just.
I think, aren't they? No, they're not. I can't remember. Somebody.
Never-
Well, no,
never
Rick-
mentioned.
No,
Never mentioned, no.
It is actually. It is actually.
Oh, Ganmark.
Well, no, the Ricka says inside of Age of Madness, how could anybody be so caught up with other shit that they have to worry about, somebody else's preferences or something like that?
Mm.
So
But I
apparently they
also
don't
feel
get
like
that
there's a
much.
bit in Best Served Cold where Monza mentions about Galmark and Shivers goes, what? And he's like, he doesn't understand.
Yeah, that's true.
How do they put it in? Shivers has yet to learn about docking.
And then she teaches him later.
Yeah, she teaches him an involuntary lesson, which is the best kind.
To be clear, he said he didn't not like it. He just was actually hearing something else.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Another kind of. I'm not gonna say it. Oh my god! Now that there's video evidence, I can't be as.
You can't say edit out anymore.
I can't say.
No,
it.
you can't say that anymore
You
because it's
can't
not going to
say
happen. We're all on
It's
video.
just in.
Yeah, not that. Now that. Huh? Edit it. What?
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 You have to find out in post.
Not like oop.
Speaking of Shivers, Shivers has an unusual high amount of one eye reveal because he gets introduced in this book, right?
Yeah, he's in
Oh, yeah?
one side shade, isn't he? And he's just like kind of doing that dramatic entrance where he's like, mysterious person in the character in the shadows who just turns out to be Bit of a doofus.
He's so basically he's got a very My Chemical Romance thing going on here.
He's in his teenager. Like,
Yeah, he's got the whole
God.
sideways eye.
I just want revenge.
Well, it's not even that. He's like, I just want someone to follow that isn't fucking Bethel.
Yeah, that's
Right,
true.
Oh, that's
right.
it.
He wants to. Yeah, exactly. Because Bethod's out here ruining the traditions of the North, right? With
Making a deal
No,
with
making-
a fucking shanker.
He's making-
fucking
Flathead.
classic. Yeah.
But and then in the battle, Dogman looks over. He only sees Shiver like one eye. Like I don't know.
Like one, he's got like hair over his face and that. Yeah, there is a lot of that, isn't there? And it makes you think whether Joe kind of knew what was going to happen with
For
that
that,
character,
yeah, he's out of something terrible.
or if he is just like a master of foreshadowing.
Mhm.
I mean, imagine how many other things that get mentioned about characters that could have been like major character developments,
Mhm.
but just never were because they like either died or they just never came up with anything for them.
Right. He's like, fuck yeah.
So you just leave loads of open ends,
Mhm.
and then the next.
Oh, like the
I'm
J.J.
gonna-
Abrams, like,
yeah,
mystery
yeah,
box?
the mystery box thing.
JJ
I don't know.
Abrams is that?
Yeah, he's like, he's like, what's in the box? And you don't know, and that's the whole mystery, and there's nothing actually in the box.
And that's why all his films are shit because even he doesn't.
Hey,
know.
no.
I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know what box you're talking about.
I
but-
enjoy a good lens flare right now and then, you know.
a good what?
A good lens flare, just like the next guy.
What's that?
Because J.J. Abrams always has a lens flare that goes across.
A lens flare.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I thought you were naming a film, and I was like, I'm a moron. So no. Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about in terms of the book?
It is difficult. isn't it?
It's tough.
Before Where It Hangs is a very difficult book to talk about because it is, again, it's a lot of setup. You're setting up more stuff for the next book because it is very much like a very traditional story structure of Blade itself is a setup. Then you've got Before Where It Hangs is the main meat of the story, and then Last Argument of Kings is the finale of a lot of characters' arcs.
Mm-hmm.
So in themselves, it's really difficult to talk about individual characters when it comes to this. But one character that I think that shines very much is Glockter.
And Before They're Hanged, yeah.
Glockter,
He shines all the time.
He always shines.
Yeah.
He's one of Joe's best characters, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
But he just has this, he gets this first taste of independence because in Blade itself, he's very much under the thumb of Architect Assault. Every time he does something, he goes back to Salt, and Salt's like, Glockter, you crippled bastard, and he's just
Crippled
crazy.
worm!
You crippled worm!
You're not crippled enough.
You're not near as crippled as it could be.
Talk about positive reinforcement, right?
Well, apparently this is proof that negative reinforcement works.
It's a much better method.
But yeah, Glockter actually has like this taste of independence where he goes off and he gets to do his own thing and he fucking shines. Like, he gets a lot of things wrong, but he learns a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
He learns straight away. Like, he puts Lawson away because he's a fucking prick and he just doesn't give a shit and clearly taking bribes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But then he lets Schickel go. And we know that Schickel's the one that actually killed the Voos. That he gets it all wrong. He salvages it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that show.
Nobody would.
A
Right,
14-year-old
it's a
girl.
14-year-old.
Yeah.
See?
I mean, I wouldn't have gotten that. I don't think it's a mistake.
No,
I mean,
I
it is
wouldn't say it was a
mistake.
mistake, but he still got it wrong.
Yeah.
He was wrong, yeah.
I think it's interesting that Glockter has so much compassion in this book because he had the moment with Wes where you realize, wait a minute, my life, maybe it's not exactly what I thought it was. He thought like, oh, the world hates me, but really it's like he's kind of making some of that up just to cope with his own issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that he's opened himself up again, he's actually he's allowing himself to show more compassion
Right.
with the other characters.
And they tend to be the ladies.
It does tend to be ladies. He says it early on. I have a soft spot for
Yeah.
ladies, or to Vitari.
Atari especially.
Yeah.
He says-
Damsels in distress.
Yeah, damsels in distress who are crying or whatever.
Right. Vitari, Schickel, Artie,
And Carla.
and Carla.
Yeah, he's super merciful.
He's a
Think about all
sucker
the
for the
male
women.
characters that he interacts with. Vesper dies.
Hadis Kadia.
Hadis dies.
Tulkas.
Tulkas dies.
Pushback out, you believe.
Shabbat Ali's like you. Yeah, whatever.
No, he relished killing that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, he deserved it. Fuck him. Yeah. There's a clear divide here. Like, Glockter is a ladies' man.
He's
through.
yeah. Yep.
And he does have a lot of like compassion for people. And to be fair, a lot of the women in these stories are like sort of more selfless and more blameless than the male characters.
Well,
Apart from Visbro.
Well,
did nothing wrong.
and that's true, but that's because of Joe wrote Society Where Men Are Dominant. So
That's true.
So in this case, men are to blame for most of the issues.
When are we not?
It is all of our fault.
Except Hadish Kadia. He's a good man. Him and Tolkis.
They shouldn't have.
I mean, we covered that in the character spot, but Hadish Kadia is just like a fucking paragon of.
Yeah.
He never does a
So
thing
much
wrong.
so that whenever I posted a poll about who's the best person, and I specifically...
Are you still on this?
I
He's still on
stated,
this.
I specifically stated, except for Hadish Kadia in the description, and I had like 5 people still say Hadish Kadia. I'm like, okay, you're so smart.
Yeah. He didn't even fucking read.
Okay.
We're not gonna get into that. We're not
We're
gonna
not.
berate people for that.
Harrison's done a good enough job on that on his own.
Yeah, that's right.
But I
Come on.
love how he's not just moral, he's also so brave that the second Gloctor walks into the room, he's just like, fuck you, I hate everything you stand for, I hope you die screaming. and Gloctor's just like...
He's like, interesting tactic. Tell me the truth right off the bat. All right. Let's see where this leads.
I love how he's always like, he's telling me the truth, what, to hide something? Trying to throw me off, perhaps? And then the other people are like, lying. Are they actually lying, or are they trying to throw me off by pretending that they're lying? He always thinks of every possibility.
You gotta consider every possibility, haven't you? It's interesting.
Yeah, that job is just mired in paranoia, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've gotta be. Even if your boss is coming for you at any fucking, any like a moment's notice. You gotta be paranoid. You could be looking over your shoulder like...
Why would you voluntarily work for a job like that where your
There's
boss
nothing
can
else
kill
that he
you?
can do.
A
There's
wage.
nothing else that he can
A
do.
wage.
He could have been.
He's a nobleman. He could have lived with his mum and raised
Yeah,
dogs.
he could have just been. He just couldn't done that.
He's not ready to be out of the game yet. It's like with he wants to play the game. He wants to be
Right.
powerful still. He doesn't want to be beat. But by him giving up and living a peaceful life, in his mind, that's probably giving up.
Yeah.
And he does not like to be beaten.
No, it's very true.
He wasn't gonna let his, despite how much he bitches about, oh my leg, oh my pork spine. he doesn't want to be beaten by those injuries. He's not gonna let that stop him.
No, exactly. Because if he lets the Gurkic win, then he admits that they broke him,
Yeah.
Well,
and that's it. That's the end of his life.
And that's kind of a build-up. Is that why do I do this?
I mean, they kind of did.
Up
break
to the
it.
point where he actually says it at the very end of the written series, which is, well, he doesn't. He says it. He says it in this book, I think, or Refuse to Be Beaten. No, he says it in Last Argument.
That's
of
Last
Kings.
Argument of Kings.
Yeah, but he says it at the culmination of his character. Why do I do this? People still are like, why does he do this? Because he refuses to be beaten by anything.
Right.
He still has that competitive, young, impetuous spirit.
I mean, I guess it works out for him, right?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, he still shits the bed.
He gets Artie. Who's like,
And he gets Artie, who has to
Artie's
clean up
renowned
aforementioned bed shitting. So
and she's like, no, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
that makes me think. When they get married, right? Spoiler. Does that mean Barnum gets fired?
Already put Barnum out of a job.
God damn it!
That bitch.
We will never hear Barnum.
Barnum!
Artie! I shit the bed again.
Lady wife, I need new breeches.
What was that? She says in something Age of Madness, in terms of a sex life, let's not even talk about it. Practically non-existent.
That's not just a lump of wood on the drawer.
Fucking hell.
Why, yes, Spinner, I use these glasses for more than one thing.
Glocka's still got to pull his weight in the bedroom.
No,
He
not
still has
that
to.
one, Savine.
No, Savine, put that down.
Okay.
Put it down. No.
It's not a sword.
It is not a fake sword. Put it down. Honey, did you watch that? God damn it! Oh, well, yeah. What else?
There's
But
a...
you were talking about the foreshadowing with Gloctor and Artie's relationship in Before They Hang.
Yeah, last week.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Well, they get along so well, and you were saying there's definitely not the first time when we see him. After the execution, you know, he's talking about going to lunch and all that, and it seems like something that they're familiar with. It's just
Right.
like,
He's
That's
had the
like-
whole day
yeah.
planned out and everything.
and the fact that they get along so well and they connect so well as well.
Well, they
It's the
see each other
first-
for who they are and don't look at each other's faults. They're
Exactly.
just like, and that's sometimes a bad thing, and they're obviously a little bit toxic because they're just like, your fault. You
This
can
is-
drink, who cares? You're all grumpy all the time, who cares?
They,
They're like the
they enable each
stereotypical-
other.
They enable each other.
They enable each other, and they're like the stereotypical like toxic power couple.
Yeah.
They like egg each other on, and they just make each other do like worse and worse things.
I bet you can't overthrow Baez. And he's like, I refuse to be it.
Well, if you want to do something about it, do something about
And she's like mocking him too. She was like, oh, I know, you refuse to be beaten. Listen, it's to protect Savannah. It's not a big deal.
You won't just hang all the peasants. I bet you won't. Oh, word?
And he's like, I'll do it as soon as you stop drinking. And
You won't get our daughter to fuck her brother.
Oh. I like how we never see Glock's reaction to that.
Yeah, he's just probably
We
like...
see Artie go. "Oh."
He's just like... yeah, so...
Gawk was probably like, not surprising.
Right, because Artie's reaction to that in that series was...
Yeah, she immediately
And so it's
no,
like,
no, you can't do it, you can't do it.
do that, no, you
Yeah.
can't do
Gawk was
that.
probably in his head is like,
No,
of
but
course.
yeah, but then when Sabine goes to tell him about it, she's like, "Why didn't you tell me that he was my brother?" Glock is just like, meh. He's just like, meh.
Yeah, well, but by the time they find out, right, Giselle's dead, right? So I bet he's
Right.
like, even from the grave, that that fucking punk is haunting me.
Son of a bitch.
That jumped up the Lilia.
You can't buy his off you for years. God damn it, this doesn't compare.
He actually got to fuck my wife, and I can't.
I'm glad
Well, we don't know about that. We don't know if he has. We talked about.
We
it.
talked about that in like what the second episode.
Yeah, we were like, does he have a functioning penis?
Does he?
No,
I mean,
wonder.
they don't have any other children, so that kind of points to
Well, I don't know.
probably.
Well,
not.
maybe he doesn't have the strongest swimmers.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
It could be that. Hey, Gawk's just got a good plot game, you know. He's like, I'm not gonna fucking make another one of me. Those little bastards, fuck that.
I don't think he can pull out. I think Artie has to jump off because there's no way he's plowing. There's no way. Off one good leg, it's barely that.
Hey, he was a master. at
Just
one
like
point.
fucking like groaning, like it hurts so much.
He'd be in the same position he's in when Barnum has to rescue him.
He's like, Barnum!
And then he shits himself.
And then in the post-coital like aftermath, they're just like silent and they're just like, so we're not gonna talk about the fact that you just yelled out Barnum?
Would you have preferred for me to say, Giselle? I'm sleeping on the couch.
No, Artie, you're gonna have to
And
sleep
you
on the
can pick
couch.
up your
I
own
can't
shit in
move.
the morning.
Huh?
And she's like, you can pick up your own shit in the morning. Anyway, Giselle
Oh boy.
has a big
Dick. Okay.
change in
You
character.
laugh like you made the best joke.
His face fucked me up.
I was trying to like not react.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's funny.
Giselle has a big character growth
Uh-huh.
in this book.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
huge.
And it like parallel Ladislaus at the same time.
Yeah, it does because Ladislaw has the same. He goes through a very similar situation, and he could go through the same growth, but he doesn't. He just goes the opposite way.
Yep. He just stays bad. He stays shit.
Yeah, I don't think rapists really get redemption arcs.
Well, right, but we didn't know about that until
Right.
before, and then he died.
No, because we just got little
But
rumors
Giselle,
from,
yeah,
like from the Archlector and everything.
yeah, but that was all after too. Remember,
Oh,
after
shit,
he
that's
died,
right.
After he died, they're like, he never could keep it in his pants.
I had to get him out of
Little
more than
rat.
one scrape in my time. Right. Okay. So continue. Sorry.
So I just think it's interesting to have the person who wants to change and does change and becomes better, and then Vladislav doesn't change, doesn't want to change, and they both started off at the same place, kind of pompous a-hole, ignorant idiots. And then we have the parallel between Logan and Pharaoh, whereas Logan wants to get better and wants to change and wants to leave things behind, and Pharaoh does not. But by the end, he thinks, well, I have nothing else, because they basically break up, and then reverts back to, I guess I'll just go back to violence. And then Pharaoh actually becomes better, even though she wasn't trying to be, but is too scared of that change to actually take the leap, and she just stays an addict as well, an addict to revenge.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of the last argument, Kings, that's not totally on her because of the whole,
Well, that's not
demons
totally
in
on
her
her.
head.
Yeah, the whole possession thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, remember, she gets them under control. She completely gets them under control to the point
Oh,
that
that's
they
right.
want her
After
to go
the
after the
moon.
box.
Yeah.
Wants to go. They want her to go after the box, and she says, "No, fuck you. We're gonna go do what I want."
Yeah.
She's in control the whole time. That's why no one controls Pharaoh Malgin, and instead of and you could say she's using it for good. Yeah, definitely. But she's not doing it for good. She's doing it for her revenge.
Yeah, because it feels good.
Yeah, because that's what she knows. That's what she's always built herself on, and now she actually has the means to do it. So fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas Logan actually does do a little bit better, just a little bit.
Logan does try. Logan tries in Red Country. All the events prior to.
Well, here's
Red
the thing.
Country.
Here's what I think. Right, if he jumps out that window in Last Argument of Kings, and he could have come back and tried to kill him. He never goes back to the north.
True.
He leaves and says, "I'm going to leave." That is the character moment. It's not, and you understand that because he says he could stay and fight. He might die. And he's like, "Oh, it's no choice at all. Jump out the window," and then he never comes back. He does turn away and turn the other cheek.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
once.
Because I think at that point though, he realizes that everyone in the North is just gonna come from him eventually.
Right.
So I think it's more of self-preservation.
That's true.
I don't know if it's
to a degree.
I mean, he did, like you said, he did try in the events prior to Red Country.
Yeah.
But then all it took is just oh, somebody snatched my kids. That's it. And then he's like, I'm taking heads.
You don't steal from me, fucker.
Yeah. Didn't give a shit about did not give a shit about the safety of the kids. Just oh, you offended my name.
Yeah.
I'm like, me? How dare you?
And again, we've got to talk about the voice acting in that, especially that bit. When he talks to Greg Cantless, you stole from me, fucker, from me! And it's just oh, fuck. I'm scared of him.
You just made me shit my pants almost, George. Jesus Christ.
No, it can't. Or Clement Golden. No, it can't be.
This was definitely going to be my last fight. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is it. Yep. Oh, boy. Even the referee got fucking murdered in that fight.
Yeah. God, yeah. Yeah. God.
No, God. Just me. Or only me.
I like how in that book too, Joubert says, "Oh God," in the same way, he says it in fear, which he doesn't do the entire time. He's always like, "Oh, if God wants me to die, then I'm to die. God also wants me to rape people. It's just God's will, So I do what I will, whatever." And then at the end, he does what Temple does. It's like, "Oh God." He's like a plea for help, and then because of the kind of person he is, it follows up with Temple. By the end of it, everything goes his way, kind of.
Yeah.
He because he tries to get better. And stuff.
Yeah.
But then Joubert pleads to God, and he's like, "There is no God."
It's just me, buddy. It's me, you, and this knife. Come here. But we are getting ahead of ourselves in those books.
Yeah, we're way too far.
Yeah. Sorry. So going back to before they're hanged, let's talk about Baez for a moment. What do you guys think about Baez in this book?
So actually, this is something I wanted to say real quick. You talked about how possibly Baez doesn't actually need the seed to kill all his enemies because he's very powerful.
Who said that? Him?
Yes, but I think right here in the last chapter, or the second last chapter, Among the Stones, it shows that he doesn't it because he's fucking pissed. He's like, how am I going to...
Okay.
He's just, how the fuck am I supposed to do this now?
I don't
With
think
what will I kill Kalulu with now?
yeah. I don't think it's a question of whether he can do it or not. It's just about preserving his own life. He could go all out and just murder all the eaters, blow them all up, kill Kalulu, whatever, but he would die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he would get to that point.
And he doesn't want to do that because his thing above all else is he is scared of that. And that's his character, is that he's scared of losing control.
Yeah.
Right, or dying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's scared of their... Yeah.
And that drives everything that he does.
Yeah, he is pretty controlling. Yeah.
And he's about efficiency, too, if you think about it. If he uses something like the seed, then he doesn't have to rely on so many other... Like, he doesn't have to try to recruit more apprentices, like, Malachus Quai,
I mean, if he has the monopoly on, like, all of the magic in the world, he doesn't have to do anything. He's just all-powerful forever.
Yeah.
I mean, who's he got to compete with after Kalulu's gone? Fucking Cornel and Zacharias.
Yes.
Bird Guy and the Slag. Which is a good name for a band, by the way.
That's what I...
Bird Guy and the Slag. Bird Guy and the Slag. That's great. Now, I will say, Bird Guy seems like he has his shit together by Age of Madness, right?
Well, I think I'm telling you guys, I'm pretty sure Cornel has a lot to do with that.
You think Zacharias and Cornel are like banging?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I don't think that's
He does say... He doesn't say one wayward sibling, he says wayward siblings.
Yes, and then somebody else mentions Cornel. Like that. Somebody mentions Cornel. Like, we know it's Cornel that is helping Zacharias.
Okay.
I don't remember when. But anyways, it's... Because that is annoying to him. But I don't think he sees the Empire as a threat. But with both of them, I don't know. You wonder how that worked. Because he seems to... That's the thing, right? Bias is so powerful. But, like, two Magi, or even just Kalulu, like, he's not, like, willing to go out and face by himself. Not really.
I mean, you never even see Kalulu, because he's just hiding in his fucking temple.
No, I mean, like we talked about earlier today, how he, in Joubert's, like, stories of the ancient text or whatever, the prophet won the Gurkish over by, like, beating an army by himself, or not getting hit by any arrows or something like weird like that. Like he was
said
pretty
that?
active. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Joubert has like a little story of like when the prophet stood against an entire army and the Gurkish emperor said, "I will follow you if you can't get shot," or something like that. And he doesn't get shot, and then the Gurkish emperor and then they tie bonds, and from then on the prophet and the Gurkish are one or something like that. So he had to win them over.
Huh. Okay.
Lore. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's what you're here for. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm not gonna clap anymore because I don't want to be an idiot.
I'm just
an idiot.
Let me.
But I think a lot of the stuff you were saying, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, but Baez, like I don't think he could just go down and take out so many of the eaters and whatnot. Like he's out here, he passes out, right, for like a week. A couple times where he just blows up some fuckheads.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
But then we see Yulway fucking demolished to eat.
Yeah, but clearly. Yeah, but those, remember, he says specifically, those ones were young and weak.
Yeah.
And they didn't have high art.
And all he had to do was just turn them to like liquid.
Because
right? And made one like burn from the inside.
He was like, let's be clear, like Bias is threatened by just Mamoon. Threatened. Like Mamoon is a big part of that. That's why he fucking despises Mamoon. You don't think he would have blown him up right then and there if he could have done it? He
would outside the city gates.
You can say the same thing about Mamoon when Mamoon just jumped the gates and fucking murdered him.
Because
there's a decorum, you know. There's like a policy,
there's
procedures. And
no, because
Joe, is that a plot hole?
Well, that's the thing too, is that like it would be difficult, and he doesn't know what else could happen, and either even with high art, even with Mamoon, can't kill an entire army. That's what remember Sulfur says that in the second in Age of Madness. He's like, an entire army, I can't kill all of them.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen. They can still be beaten. It just would take a lot. And Sulfur has high art too, so he knows his capabilities. But like Mamoon, he's like blowing all the eaters away, and Mamoon's the closest, and Mamoon is like still walking forward. Like, what the fuck? Mamoon is like formidable. We just see him get his ass kicked because he's not matched compared to the Seed.
That's a good
Right,
point.
right.
That's a good
So-
point.
And he's like the oldest, like
He's
the
the
longest
oldest.
apprentice.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he was an apprentice of Kaul, and then they ate. So he's not just like formidable as a eater.
Mm-hmm.
He's also formidable in high art.
Right, right. And he was around at the time of like Canadians and.
He knows all the drama.
He knows. He's like, I was there. I saw that shit. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So he's got the T, as the kids say, right? T.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never heard that before.
You drink tea. You're British.
He's got the T.
He's got the
means
T.
that you. What,
You know the gossip. Like, spill the tea, sis.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, you know that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You don't know.
No.
He knows that now.
He knows it now.
I'd say spill the beans.
Well, yeah.
Well, that one's
that's like
yeah.
That's ancient.
Yeah, that's old.
History repeats
You-
itself.
Goes in cycles.
My favorite part of this whole book, and well, my favorite Baez moment is two of them, and it's Baez and they both involve Brother Longfoot. Just him putting his long foot in his fucking mouth.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when
Like the dinner.
they're at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And then it's Shabulian.
It's Shabulian. Shabulian. Yes, that place.
Well, I for one think this is a wonderful meal, and and they were just like,
Shut the fuck
It's
up.
like we just go.
yeah. The withering stare.
And I do appreciate how Longfoot tries his best to lift everyone's spirits when they realize, oh, the Seed's not here, it's just a rock. And he's like, what? I can't do the fucking accent.
Maybe you should have.
They say that the journey itself is a reward unto itself. Don't you fucking dare!
Baez is like,
I will make ashes of you. Oh god.
Longfoot's like, I'm never working for this guy again. That's another one. As employer is a potential murder threat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Although a lot of people in the poll were like, we like to live in Baez's, library.
Live in the Northern Library, yeah, because apparently it's a really nice place to live.
I mean, the people that like a little girl made that flower necklace for him in the first book. Oh,
That is true, yeah, no, yeah.
they seem to like him enough.
Well, Baez, that's what makes Baez so interesting, is that he enjoys like little things in life. Like he enjoys conversation, and he enjoys tea,
Mhm.
and he enjoys books, not just the other books, but he enjoys art, and
Right.
he enjoys acting and things like that. And those little things remind you that he's human,
Right.
and it's one reason why I think,
But he loves power.
yeah, he loves power. It's
Yeah.
one reason why Baez is not lost touch, is because he still appreciates little things. He's not like, I'm beyond that.
Mm.
He's beyond like cheating or whatever. He doesn't care about that, but like he still
Is he?
enjoys. No, that's what I'm saying. Is he's not beyond that, right?
Right.
Like but he still like takes the time to like take those flowers. He could have been. Get out of my face!
Pocket
You
slap.
are below me. You are less than wretched. Fucking meow.
I am less than wretched.
I am less than wretched. What are you doing the best, George?
I am less than wretched. Guys, I need a fucking break.
You need a break?
Yeah, can we pause?
We're pausing.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to
Just pause everything.
just pause it?
Yeah.
Well, this will start a new video.
That's fine. We can just put them all together.
We are back now. Okay. What were we talking about?
I think we come to the end of the discussion there, haven't we?
Well, yeah, just the end of it.
Oh,
Right. We came back around.
pick on a new character then.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we took a little bit of a break. Hopefully, this will be seamlessly edited, George.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, open it up.
You're used to my editing by now.
Yeah.
The dog man.
Dogman is such an underrated character. I feel like people
The
do not
Dogman,
talk
yeah.
about Dogman as much as he should have been talked about.
Why
know,
do you
but
like
not-
him so much?
But during the first 2 books, I don't think he
really
like there's like I don't know, it's weird. He doesn't
think
get
it's-
his due.
No, he does. He definitely. But by the end of Before They Hand, that's when he starts like really developing as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't see really what he thinks about.
Uh-huh. Sorry?
You don't really see what he really thinks about, like his relationship with Catherine and things like that. We just know that he's like lonely.
Right.
He's, you know, he always talks about like, oh, you know, you haven't had a woman, you haven't been warm in a really long time. And it's just like a comfort thing.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I think once we see that he has like a romantic interaction with a female, a lady.
Romantic interaction.
Who the fuck is that? Down?
Thou, I'll kill you, thou. Which is the only time you have to note that's the only time that Dogman gets real angry with Dow because he's
Yeah.
always afraid of him.
Yeah.
Right? He's always afraid of him.
Sure.
Like, you know,
Well,
that one time he tells him like
He was
if
getting
3
his stick in
trees
the fire. His stick was in the fire, so he was
So
pretty
he
like
he
fired
was
up,
focused.
you know?
He was focused.
Yeah, that wakes everybody up, doesn't it? It
Right.
always wakes people up.
But like Dogman, like at the most he'll tell Dow, "Hey, don't joke about that, because you know having a 3 trees daughter." Or Dow, you're talking a lot. Kinda shut up, please.
Yeah.
You know. But at this point, he was like, "I don't give a fuck about your name. My cock is wilting."
You do not fuck with a man when he's fucking.
You do not. I can personally attest to this. Right, Harrison? Okay.
Not yet.
What happened when I wasn't here?
A lot.
Let's just say.
Let's just say he took off that wedding ring.
Madison, look away.
Sorry, honey. He's gonna be an outcast in Oklahoma now.
An outsider.
Outsider.
That's a total
Whatever.
reference.
Whatever.
That's a highbrow reference.
I fucking Tulsa reference.
Hey man, they're out there. There's a book called The Outsiders.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
written, yeah.
Okay, I don't know that. Okay.
Oh, it's American. Yeah.
Color me ignorant. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
uncultured.
So let's get back to the dog.
Let's get back to the book and not a
Yeah.
different book. The correct book.
So the Dogman is like one of the only characters who doesn't have like an intricate inner monologue. All he really does think about is his own memories and like how he feels, and most of the time he's just reacting to
Wait a
the
minute.
situation around him.
Is the Dogman like one of those people who doesn't have an inner monologue?
I'm not calling Dogman an NPC. I'm
And
not
those
saying
people,
that.
Those people are not NPCs. They just think differently than.
Well, he does have an inner monologue, but he only ever really thinks about like how he feels at that moment. Like, oh, you know, when was the last time I was warm? When was the last time
Yeah.
I felt
Well, it
this
makes me
way?
relatable.
Oh, I
right?
understand what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Whereas all the other characters like Logan,
They're like living in a whole different
yeah,
world.
exactly. They're always thinking about, you know, well, what if I did this different? What if I did that different? Dogman is very much just like,
In the moment.
Reactive.
yeah, he's in the moment. He's
Yeah.
very, very there.
Right. Okay.
And I think that's a really interesting because Joe really covers this kind of perspective and this spectrum of characters and like personalities.
Okay.
And there's all these different ways of thinking about. And Dogman is like the everyman.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a Dogman.
Except the Dogman.
Except the Dogman, because Dogman is always in this shit situation.
Well, that's why you want. Well, that's why everyone wants to be him.
Right. But you know who he actually, it kind of reminds you of now you think about it? Similar, not exactly, but West. West doesn't really have,
No, he doesn't.
philosophical thinkings. He doesn't, he knows what
He's
his,
just, "Nah,
he
my
knows his
sister.
position
Nah, I'm sorry,
in
I beat my
society.
sister.
Right, yeah. Besides
West
that,
has a job to do, and all he thinks is about is
That-
how to get that
yeah.
job
job done.
and how to beat his sister.
Yeah.
He's work
He's
oriented.
like hook or uppercut.
Well, that's the thing.
Maximum discipline.
We at the Circle of the World do not condone
Absolutely not. No.
domestic violence or sibling
Just any kind of abuse.
of any kind of abuse. None. Except
are like-
emotional. We like that.
But
we
that
like,
does cover like a very important topic, like with people like the abused become abusers.
Yeah,
A lot of the time,
that happens.
the people who become horrific abusers are the people that have suffered horrific abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's what they know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
They
what
don't
they
know
know.
about it. And when you revert to those sort of animalistic instincts, that is it. You just kind of fucking.
Well, Wes did this thing where he's like, oh, I gotta focus on my work. Oh, it's about my work, and he stopped caring. He maybe never actually. He didn't deal with his own problems ever. Artie didn't either.
No, he never did. He ran away.
Yeah, and they coped different ways. Artie dealt with it with alcoholism and escapism and
my joy.
and pity party. And Wes did a pity party, but also was like, oh, I have to be better. I'm better. And then never, but since he didn't deal with it, when push came to shove, he fucking fell in the same.
And he never checked in on Artie,
No.
right? Like when he left, he never wrote to her. I don't think.
I mean, it's when he
Didn't
gets
visit.
back to the camp, he thinks, oh shit, I should probably write a letter to Artie.
Right.
I haven't thought about her in 6 months. Except for, that little guilt trip every now and again that he gives
Wait,
himself.
6 months? Were they out there for that long?
That's an estimate.
Oh.
Several months. It was at least several months because they landed in the fall, and it was the middle of winter when a lot of that shit goes down.
No, but when Ladislaw's army gets demolished,
Just in the winter.
and then when he finds when he
Yeah,
gets
when
back
do
to
when do
Burr,
they ship
that's
out?
like weeks. I think in the
Several
book it's
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah,
it's not
several
months.
weeks.
Oh, okay.
But in the Blade itself, they ship out.
Oh, that takes
Just-
months. That
yeah.
takes months. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
from when he leaves to when that happens.
Yeah.
Probably 2-3 months or so.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So West and Dogman, I don't want to say they have necessarily like similar parallels, but just the structure of the point of views are similar.
So just in my opinion,
Oh.
just like with sometimes with Glocta and Giselle, but more in this book with Giselle and Ladislaw, and then with Logan and Pharaoh,
Mm-hmm.
Dogman and West are parallels of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They both have a job to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they come to a head with Cathil. They both are relatively good men,
Yeah.
and despite his terrible mistake. But he tries to be better. He does. He does regret his action. Dogman's killed a ton of people. He's really technically not a good person, but
Right.
everyone says he is. Same
Right.
thing for Wes. Wes isn't technically a good person, but everyone says he is. So
Relatively.
yeah, relatively.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah, relatively speaking. Yeah, that's yeah. So, but the Dogman is what Wes actually wants to be. That's what he thinks of. He thinks of himself as I am. He thinks of himself. I am like the Dogman.
Yeah.
No, but not actually thinking of the Dogman. He thinks
Right.
I'm a good man doing my duty and blah blah blah. But the Dogman is actually doing that thing,
Right.
whereas the Wes is just he thinks that he is.
Yeah, and a big part of that is also,
Yeah.
fucking Cathal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But thinking about it from that
Cathil-
perspective, that's why he's so angry about it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, that savage, that fucking,
Yeah.
and then
He
when
is
she
really-
turns around and says, but you're too angry for me, he's like,
Wait a minute.
oh.
No, but he doesn't even have that moment.
No, he
right?
doesn't.
He's frothing with anger, proving her point.
How
Yeah.
dare she think I'm so angry?
Try to suck my dick.
Me? Angry? This trifling bitch.
Right, so
It's like, whoa, Wes, maybe
that's
introspection.
If you
Yeah.
think about it, from this point on,
Uh-huh.
from that point, from Cathil dying, because you're right, he was angry, and then she dies, and you can tell he's upset by it.
Right.
And so from that point on, I think that's when he realizes he needs to stop, like, throughout the entire book, he finally realized he needs to stop pretending to be something he's not and just be who he actually is. Stop pretending like, oh, I am a good man, or I'm just doing my duty. Like I have to focus. He just said, I'm just gonna do my duty. I'm just gonna focus on.
I'm gonna do my best.
I'm gonna do my best, which is what the Dogman does.
Mhm.
He's not going to pretend like he's already like, oh, all through the plate itself. Well, I'm a commoner. I'm special because I'm in the king's own. And, you're in my way, Artie. That's what he does. He says, you're the one. You're ruining this for me.
Right.
Because he thinks of
His
himself.
reputation's everything in
Right,
society.
reputation,
right, all that
blah,
jazz.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so, Cathil, that whole situation made him realize what he actually is.
Mm.
And the Dogman seems like he doesn't really have as much reaction because the Dogman, relatively, other than his issue of not standing up for the right thing at the right time, is a pretty good person overall compared to a lot of characters.
Yeah.
I mean, because Dogman is the one that whenever we come into these interactions in the Blade itself, where we have these people, you know, when they come across the band and there's the kid and everything. It's
Oh,
like,
right.
oh god, we really don't want to do this.
But we're gonna have to.
Yeah,
No.
but we have to do it.
And then he appreciates what Dao does. Like
Yeah.
he's like he waited till like no one's looking or whatever.
I'm glad it was him and not me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he actually admits it to himself and he says it outright, like, that's it, I wish I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in that situation, Wes would be like, oh, no, I would have done it.
I'm a man.
Oh, he just got to it first.
Yeah, Wes was like, I would have been the hero. I would have been the tough man.
Well, I don't know about the hero, but yeah, tough man, sure.
That brings us into Blacked Out, though. Blacked Out doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be a hero. He wants to be the.
My boy.
He wants to be the villain that we don't deserve.
But his
the one we need.
oh, Black Dao, Dark Knight. Wait, there's a thing here. There's a thing. But his comedic timing, man. He's like, oh, safest place on the fucking army. Oh.
They're carrying over Don Brett. They're like, man, that's a strong fortress. So.
All right, she suck your dick, eh?
They're all serious. What the fuck?
And then him and Toll are just having the time of their lives, and like in the blade itself, they were at each other's throats.
Yeah,
heavy,
they just fucking
right?
argue the whole
They
time.
were arguing like crazy, and then you see like, wait a minute, do they really hate each other, or there's something building here?
Oh.
Honestly, it could be. You know what it could be? It could be the absence of Logan. Think about it. Logan is a consistent reminder, except for Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
Logan's a consistent reminder that he's beating the shit out of Three Trees, Grim, Dow, and Tolduru.
Mm-hmm.
Four League, you know, rest in peace, Four League, but he didn't fight. And they obviously no one likes losing, but they follow the tradition of you were spared, so therefore you enter servitude, or you follow him as your chief now,
Okay.
right? And Logan obviously has gone off the rails many times. Where, you know, like where we saw Sharp Ends, right? And then like Bethod's looking for Logan, and then it's just Dogman, and Dogman's just like, Three Trees took the lads for a walk, whatever.
That bit in Sharp Ends, you really get the sense that this isn't the first time.
Yeah,
that this
the Dogman's just know. He just
Yeah.
knows. He's like, this is
The way
what
that
it is.
Bethod is walking on eggshells
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole time. He just
Yeah.
like, yeah, this guy is just a fucking psycho.
Right, exactly. And so my point is, I think like once Logan's out of the picture, like they all respect him at some, at a very minimum they respect.
In a very
him.
like analytic kind of, you've beaten me there.
Yeah. Now, except for Three Trees, Three Trees and Tolduru do like him,
Well,
especially Tolduru.
I don't know about Three Trees.
Well,
I think
Okay.
Three Trees. I think Three Trees is alright.
Ever hit
I think-
any
no,
opinion
I think
about
this is a
Logan or
cultural
Three
thing.
Trees.
So let's think about this for a second.
Mm.
It is cultural. It's a subservience thing. It's not a respect thing.
So the Northmen respect strength and fear, like combat prowess and
Right.
like the ability to show fear. Because despite what Black Dao is, more people. How do people view Black Dao and the heroes? That's how they view Logan. Respectfully, fearfully. They did what he said. Black Dao is a pretty good leader overall. I mean, he's not as good as like Three Trees, but everyone says Logan's a good leader too.
Yeah.
So he's a good leader. They respect him for that.
Mhm.
They are scared of him.
Yeah.
But they still like he's a bastard.
Right.
So
Yeah, but that's
it's the same kind of thing.
That's
as
my
they
That's
view
kind
him
of
the same
that's
way.
kind of like my point about like. So
They
once
didn't like him. They just it was like a mute. It was like a respect thing. where it's
Right,
like, "Dao,
right.
Fuck him."
Now, and Logan, in his mind, from what we got from his POV, right, he did say that he tried, right? Like, he says, like, some people just can't, like, Pharaoh and Black Dao are similar,
Yeah.
because you, like, no matter how hard you try, they just, they stonewall you at every turn, right?
Mhm.
Remember, he did that before their hang. He does that monologue
Yeah.
he had about that, which is why he just got tired. He's like, do you have to be such a cunt? So maybe, because like, I do realize now, I'm thinking back to it in Sharp Ends, at that time, Black Dao wasn't under the service of Logan yet.
Not yet. No.
No.
No. Yeah.
So maybe
I think it was just Logan and Dogman at that point.
it was Logan, Dogman, Three Trees, and I think maybe Grim or Forley. Like, it wasn't explicitly said, but I know when they had the meeting with, who shit was that? Rattle?
We should know this. Rattleneck. Yeah.
Was it? No, it's not Rattleneck.
Yeah, it is Rattleneck. Yeah.
Wait,
Rattleneck's son.
isn't Rattleneck from
The
Game of
one
Thrones?
that died.
Huh?
It's probably not.
That's Rattlebones.
Rattle Bones.
Yeah.
Joe, is that a copyright infringement? What the fuck? All right, anyway, so I just realized that.
Well, the first law is fantasy, but
Yeah, I know,
satire, so
yeah,
it makes
yeah,
sense.
So, okay, so when they had that meeting, they said Black Dow's still willing to fight. So I'm assuming since he's the one that's not named yet, at the very least, Tolderu, Grimm, one of them, if not all of them, are under the purview.
Yeah.
So I would say, I would say probably all of them because of how friendly they are with him. Black Dog's like the last one.
Yeah,
Except, well, maybe not Forley. Forley might not be with him either because it seems like he's pretty new. He's young.
He is
He's young, and seeing as they were away from whenever they got cast out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's still young for that, and they were gone for several years, obviously.
I feel that makes sense though as well. Like, surely it's going to be the last tribe that surrenders that is going to be the one that goes now.
Just send a weakest guy.
That does make sense.
Besides Black Down Forley.
Right.
But yeah, the group, that would make sense.
Right. So, but my point is like, all right. So when you see in the next book, you'll see like when Logan comes back, Tolderu's happy as shit. You know, Black Dow's kind of just like, oh, this motherfucker again.
Giving him the side eye.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I was doing better until now, but whatever. Just whatever. So I guess my point is that with Logan out of the picture, there's more camaraderie. There's more of a jovial tone.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? There's a lot more joking. They're in just like interpersonal relationships.
Because he adds so much tension to everything.
Because they're like you. Even someone that like Dogman or Tolderu or even Bethel back in their heyday when they were cool, as cool as you were with Logan, you were thinking like, is this the day this man shoves a knife in my asshole? Like, what's he gonna do?
The only person who never thought that is Giselle, which is why Giselle's on edge.
Right, but
Logan loves Giselle.
Right,
so
because Logan obviously he does struggle with the whole like, I'm a good person, but I like to bite people's faces off for a living. Like, what do I do? What do I do? What was me? What was me? Yeah.
I'm just asleep on the water.
But when he comes to the Union, the whole thing with Baez, it's like this is a chance for him to remake himself.
Yeah.
And he does try.
He does try, and I think
I don't know how hard he tries, but he tries.
He doesn't seem to try very hard, but because he thinks it's supposed to be easier.
But think about it when he gets in. They get like jumped in the alleyway. Him and Longfoot. He's like, right, no, here's the money. Don't worry about it. You can have the money. And he tries everything he can to stay out of that fight.
Right.
Whereas he could have just fucking gutted them in 2 seconds.
That's true. So he does. He does. And he only goes bloody 9 in the first book because they were getting hounded by the practicals. Yeah. Right.
Well,
so he does try. He does try.
We talked about this before how he does try, but he's not going about it correctly because instead of thinking, why am I this way? He's thinking, it's just my environment. It's just now that I'm out of the north.
Right, he does do that.
But to a certain extent, it is in his environment.
It's a nature nurture kind of thing. But
he does basically act like it's. He still shifts the blame off of himself. He still says, "Yes, it's my fault. I'm a terrible person." But he also adds a caveat on him. It's just the people you're around, or things like that.
Right.
He's trying, but he's not taking full responsibility.
Sure.
Right.
But then, how many people really do?
That's true, but his
it requires a lot of self.
Yeah, but
exactly, and not many people have that kind of self-ability to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really blame somebody for not being able to.
It's just his actions have big consequences because it's so violent.
Exactly.
So it's more devastating. It's not like man, I just can't stop looking at my phone at night before I go to sleep. It's
right.
It's like man, I just stabbed my best friend. Whoopsie.
Who happened to be the king of
I disemboweled this kid.
No one can stop me. I'm like a white flow, bitch.
Ain't no thing. Whatever.
Sorry, guys. Just leave on the water. My bad.
It's alright. It's alright.
You forgive me, right? Sweet.
I just live in the moment, man. Can't hate that.
Oh my god.
What's another character we want to mention? We want to highlight. I thought this was gonna be a short episode. It's not gonna be a short episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Pharaoh.
Ooh, Pharaoh. I love Pharaoh. And before the hang, especially, I like her a lot.
People always shit on Joe's characterization of Pharaoh as being like this typical like hard ass fucking typical strong woman stereotype.
Yeah.
Absolutely not true at all. Pharaoh shows her moments of being
vulnerable.
She has to be hard because if she isn't, she gets fucked over.
Right.
And that is just the way her life is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Joe's writing her from the perspective of a former slave.
Exactly.
It's not like that was a fun, easygoing time there, folks.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't compare that to, like, any kind of modern perspective.
Right. Yeah.
It's
There's
like,
you can't engage in
she-
presentism.
well, like she
that,
is
you know what I
hard
mean?
and tough, but like
Hmm?
she is hard and tough, but it's not like a caricature. She's
Right,
not. She's
right.
not hard and tough because he needs a strong female character. She's hard and tough because she just is.
Right. Like maybe in the Blade itself, the writing of Pharaoh was a little rough around the edges, maybe.
Yeah.
But other than that, like
Like
no,
the bit when
it
she
was
runs
good.
away for no reason and then gets caught. You know,
Yeah,
that's just a bit silly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, but you know, plot needs to happen. So
Cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's, you
And
know,
it's the
you
first
accept
book,
that.
so,
Yeah, that's fine.
You accept that because that's Joe's like his first book.
Right. Yeah. It's fine.
First way.
Well, that's the thing too is that like Pharaoh, I never the first time read her, probably in the Blade stuff, I was a little like, oh, this is that kind of character. But
It's that white privilege.
yeah,
Okay. Sorry.
Jeffrey, we talked about this. You can't help yourself. You need help, man.
fucking white privilege. Where did that go wrong?
I'm sorry. I misspoke. The Oklahoman privilege.
The hick.
The hick privilege. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But at the end, I really did think that like it's not about her being a tough woman. I always thought about that she didn't change at the end. Other characters, Logan's different. Giselle's different. Bias is even fucking different.
At the end of the trilogy?
At the end,
Oh, okay.
But sure, but
Yeah, is she
Pharaoh's story
different?
is inherently different in that
in that way.
she actually gets this higher kind of power.
Yeah, she changed. No,
She does
She does
physically
change.
change.
She-
and I think you know what
I'm saying her goal and desire so everybody else's goals and desires from the beginning have changed by the end,
But
including
but
I disagree.
She considers giving up revenge, and she only doesn't because of circumstance. And then when it gets to the point where she has the power to, by the end of Last Argument of Kings,
Yeah.
she doesn't. It seems like she doesn't really care that much.
she doesn't.
But it is just that's all I have left.
But it's not that she fails to realize that that's
But
not.
she feels like it does.
But yeah,
That can be the most important thing.
Yeah,
whether you feel.
well,
like,
yeah, you feel like that, but like that's the point is that she is still stuck inside of this fucking mindset. And I don't think that's bad writing. I think he did that on purpose.
No,
and that's
no,
why I thought that was a good.
But I do think she did change in a way. Because I think where a lot of her anger was, like, as much as she wanted revenge on the Gurkish, even I think, deep down she knew she can't kill every single person.
But now she can't.
The fact she couldn't kill
You can fucking
Kalul,
try.
all that jazz. Now she has the power to be able to do so. She's like, well, I'm going to fulfill this fucking mission. And I think
That's true.
the point what I'm trying to make is, like, a lot of that initial stuff, like the earlier interactions with Pharaoh, where, like, she's angry, but a part of her anger is not only her experiences, like her past experience, is the anger that there's not going to be any way for her to actually get any kind of comeuppance. Like to give Kalul and the Emperor comeuppance.
What
like,
they have coming to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then she's like, well, now I can do it. And it does, I imagine it changes her. I want to know what the fuck's going on with her after the whole Age of Madness. Like, she's probably still tearing it up. I hope she met up with Logan in Red Country and they're just killing
So that's
people,
that's the thing is
babies,
that
maybe.
all of the
Making babies, killing babies, who knows?
the characters by the end of the trilogy, that story for them has completed.
Yeah, but you said, there's another thing you said, I'm sorry. You said that everyone's changed.
Mhm.
Right, you said that. But
Yeah.
I don't think they have. Giselle
Giselle has not really.
has not changed.
Are you guys kidding me?
No. I mean,
What he wants, his
no.
goals and desires?
Yes,
No, his
but
internal thoughts.
there's a difference.
But his
his
actions.
yeah,
haven't.
that's exactly that.
No,
And-
his actions do, but
But think about it. At the end of the day, he could have been like, "Fuck you, Baez.
No, he
I'm
couldn't.
going." No,
he could
Fuck-
have been replaced.
no, But that's my point. Fuck you, Baez. Kill me now.
That-
I'm not gonna do it.
Exactly.
Self-preservation, and he's like,
How
well,
how many
That's
people
like
have done
the
that? though?
ultimate.
that's my
sacrifice.
point. That's an
Yeah.
ultimate sacrifice. And Giselle went through kind of the hero's journey, like
Yeah.
Joseph Campbell would say, whatever.
Yeah.
But
And the traditional,
really.
the traditional ending to that story would be that he would sacrifice his life.
he
in
would
the name
sacrifice.
Of the greater good.
He didn't sacrifice.
Didn't he though?
Baez admitted to him. He was like, "Hey, I bought you from a whore for what? Two pennies?
Yeah,
She wanted 10.
She wanted $10. I drove her down to $6.45, and so he knows that he's not the king.
Okay, let me
the
put it
king's
like this.
bastard. Hold on.
Okay.
He's not the king's bastard. He knows he's not the king's bastard. So he could have just outright just been like, "Sorry guys, turns out it was a snafu. Genetic DNA testing said that I'm not really king." What was his name? Oh, the Guslav's son. But no, he kept it, and he told the line. He fit in with what was required of him. Before it was society, now it's bias.
Well, hang on.
Mm.
I see what you're saying.
Mm.
I understand what you're saying.
Mm.
But are you telling me the Giselle and the blade itself would have produced Orso? Is that what I'm hearing?
There's a lot of time between the end of the last argument of kings and.
But what I mean,
the kind of person that Giselle is at the end of the last argument of kings is the same Giselle at the beginning of the Age of Madness.
That's okay. Yeah,
it's the same type of person.
Two things.
You can't say that without seeing this point of view.
Yeah, two things. A, I will say Orso's a prince, and you leave him alone. He's special.
Exactly right.
He's
special because of his father.
Well, I'll give this to you. I'll say that when I say he didn't change, or you said. Everyone changed except Pharaoh. What I meant was the base nature, not necessarily the secondary personality aspects. Yeah. So maybe just that he learned be a bit more kinder, be a bit more thoughtful and perspective of other people.
Yeah, he wants different things in life.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying at the end of the day, Giselle, and everyone is all about self-preservation, and it's I could either be my name is ruined and be a former nobleman, right? Because if he outs himself as he's not really the bastard of Guslav, or he could toe the line according to what Baia says. To me, it's I'm inverting society, the first law of society and the union society with Baez. He's still towing the line. Well, he still has to follow to get what he wants.
Well, then isn't that if it's out of the base instinct? Every single character is like that. Then every single one.
That's what I'm saying.
But every single person in real life is like that too. Our base instinct doesn't change.
And that's I feel like that's what Joe's writing reflects. It reflects real life. People necessarily don't really change. For you to change, honestly, it's what you gotta go to therapy for many years.
It's changing your situation for more than anything.
Your situation, you need to be
Shiva says. People change all at once or not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Because that is true. That is true. People
it's either huge
because of huge, impactful events.
Right. It's either
not because they want to.
Right.
As much as they might fucking try.
It's not.
They don't.
Right.
Yeah, look.
It's either a huge paradigm shift or it's nothing.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm trying to say is everybody does change though, and that's also part of the story. He does both. You're right. The base instinct, and people don't really change as part of the story. People don't change actually, but people do change.
Okay, in degrees. In degrees.
Okay,
I can work with you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I'm saying it's a good point. But people's goals and what they want in life, those won't change, and how people go about their goals change. And things like that. People do change in degrees, and almost all the characters have changed in degrees, not by their base instinct self, because you're right, nobody does actually really change.
Oh,
sure. People do change, but then they backslide. They go back. You change a little bit, and you get to the point where, I feel like I'm a better person. And then something happens, and you just go back.
But Giselle doesn't do that, though, does he?
Absolutely, he absolutely does.
Well, he backslides. He backslides.
When he hears Logan and Pharaoh shagging in the blankets, he's like, "Dirty savages! I can't believe I ever thought."
I'm talking about
anything
at the very end.
Sure, but that mental slip is telling.
Yeah, because it's second nature.
It's second. That's your nature. When you are angry,
your nature.
You give up your true nature. You can always give these grand illusions of what you think you know.
Yeah.
They're fucking right next to me.
Come down to it, and it comes right down to, I'm confronted with something that I don't like. That's when you show who you really are.
Exactly,
with West. When West is shown something he doesn't like, he reacts with horrible violence against the people that he liked.
And so
he
does
loves.
Logan does the same thing.
And Logan does the same thing.
Yeah, I think
And
what
Broad does the same thing.
right, and you know what it is? I think
So does, wait, let's count all the characters.
Yeah, all of them. But I think you know, it's like people don't really change who they are, but they might change what they desire, what they want in life. Like
Yeah, but
that,
but I
and
feel
I
like-
think it's hard.
But we're getting into really philosophical. But what is a person? Though?
Are we?
Only our
Yeah,
base,
we can literally talk about this for
Are we
forever.
only our base? Are we only our base selves? Or are we the culmination of everything that we are?
I mean,
And if we
people
are the
have
Who
been
knows?
Just for news viewers, people have been talking about this for 2,000 years.
Yeah, we're not the first ones. We're definitely the dumbest. Oh man. Why were we talking about this?
We went on a really big tangent there.
Because of
Huge
Giselle, right? It was because of Giselle.
Yeah, well, Pharaoh actually.
Right, because people don't change. Pharaoh doesn't change. Pharaoh. Okay, got it. So, too long didn't read. Pharaoh's totally perfect. Anyway, I'm kidding. No, but
Amen.
not. But Pharaoh's arc is, you know. But when we get to the last argument, Kings, we see a lot more. What do I want to say? I want to say, like self. Reflection from Pharaoh. Like, wasn't there?
She definitely has a lot more in a monologue.
Yeah.
In Last Argument of Kings, and she starts really thinking about, especially when they capture that Kadiri guy.
That's
And
what I
she's
was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
She's thinking, this guy isn't that much different from me, because he is a slave in the same way that I am.
She hesitated.
Yeah.
Well, because she's finally fucking slowed down enough.
Yes.
And being with Logan
Mhm.
and going on that little journey gave her separation from the Gurkish. So that at the end of before they're hanged, she's even like, "Oh, that doesn't sound distant. Revenge
Right,
sounds
like-
far away."
right,
And,
revenge.
and that is maintained throughout Last Argument of Kings until she gets the chance.
Until she gets to see, she's like, ooh.
And what I
But
really,
she has a chance to fucking leave that behind.
and what I really
multiple
think that
times.
is, it's a character study in how horrible trauma can be overcome, and it's not even. It's so subtle. That you would never think it unless you did something like this, where we're all sitting around fucking talking about it.
Right.
You know, nobody thinks about this shit. Joe probably didn't even think about it, but if you look at it and the way these people act, Pharaoh is getting over this extreme trauma, and she's had this one chance to recover, like you said, on this trip, and she turns around and says,
Nah.
this guy who I thought was my enemy is really not that different from me. And what a fucking revelation is that.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
She still stabbed him, right?
she still does kill it, but that's
does,
more of
right,
a
right,
pra-
right.
that's more
It's
of a
more like,
practical decision.
he's gonna come back
he's
and
gonna-
snitch.
exactly.
Shit, we can't risk it. Sorry.
But that is what 10 lines,
Okay, well,
and you can infer all that off. 10
Yeah,
lines,
you can.
so-
You can. Absolutely, you can.
So yeah, and what that Giselle's like that too, is he does the same thing. His intentions are completely different than what they were. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that people's intentions are very different.
Okay, if that's what you're trying to say, then I understand. I apologize.
It took a while to get around to that.
See
but-
that again when you're getting into philosophy. If you take intentions, you cannot ever justify. You know, the ends do not justify the means.
What do you mean?
The means do. You know, you can't do something and say, "Well, I intended to do this, therefore what I did was good."
Right, so we can't justify Pharaoh's actions. Then.
Exactly. No,
Right,
you
so
can't. No, but I'm not trying to justify Pharaoh's actions. What I'm saying is, she's grown from I'm gonna do this because I fucking hate this guy.
But has she
to
actually?
I have to kill this guy.
But she
and I
doesn't-
don't really like it.
Well, but if that's her intention, though,
Sure.
does
Okay,
it,
but
does
then
it matter because she doesn't actually take the different
Okay.
action?
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think all good things. I think intentions do matter to a degree.
Of course it is.
But you can't justify bad actions with intentions. So, like Giselle is like, I'm trying to be a good person. Or actually, Orsa does that a lot.
But I
Orsa
think
says, well, I
Giselle
could
is
have
probably
done something.
the most innocent person because he never really does anything that bad to anyone.
Who, Giselle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Oh, when
no.
he bullies Brent a bit.
Yeah, he's a cunt a little bit.
Yeah,
other
but
than
Brent
that-
is a cut.
But he's just like your average like garden variety cunt. You know, he's not just.
Who
he's
hasn't
not like
bullied
low-
a person? Like,
Everybody. When they're especially when they're kids are fucking cruel.
You
Yeah.
either bully or you be bullied, and most of the times you're both.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it continues into adulthood where people will take advantage of people in the workplace, in everyday society. And, you know, if some people see the opportunity to get one over on somebody, get the upper hand on somebody, they will.
Yeah.
And you can see this, and this is what I hate about regular fantasy books.
Mm.
I mean, I've read like every fucking fantasy book that's out there, and they're all so much like idealistic. This
okay.
person they live for this ideal, and that's it. That's their character.
Mm.
And then you read something like this, and it does take you a while to appreciate it, but these are fucking real people.
Yeah. No,
These
for
are
sure.
real
They read
people.
like real people, for sure. Absolutely.
That's why we started this podcast.
And I've never read anything else like it. And if anybody knows anything else with characters like this, you fucking email us. Circle of the World
No.
at gmail.com.
Circle of the World podcast.
No, it's not. It's just Circle of the World. We've had this argument like
Are
a
you
year ago.
lying to me?
It's literally Circle of the World.
You are lying to me. You're lying to
Keep in
me.
mind, it can't just be like the one character in a series. It's like the protagonist is like,
I am
oh,
checking.
that one protagonist.
No, exactly.
I'm right. Circle of the World podcast at gmail.com. It's circleoftheworld.com. If you want to go to the website, please do. He's still updating it. It'll get done.
This makes it memorable, so it's okay. And we're not doing any of our usual editing wizardry where we edit out all the stupid jokes that we make. We're just getting, this is raw.
We'll call
It's fucking raw. We were just talking about Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, yeah.
That's an inside joke. You wouldn't get it.
You would not get
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would get that.
I know. You ruined my meta joke.
That's a show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support really does mean a lot to us.
Join us next week as we do another special guest episode.
And make sure you follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We don't post shit these days, but you know. And we've got a website that doesn't really work. So.
Hey, but YouTube's going great.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this goofy podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any podcast app that you use. And please make sure to rate and review this podcast because it supposedly helps us. Thank you all again for listening.
We will forgive our enemies, but not before they're hanged.
Yeah. Okay, fine, clap. Snap.
A classic thing to do.
What is that? I've never seen that before in my life.
No, you haven't.
It's an American thing.
What? It is?